Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Committee of the Whole meeting of June 17, 2024 to order. My name is J.D. Petrieva, Councillor and Chair of the Planning and Economic Development Committee. I would like to begin by reading a safety notice. In the event of an emergency, please evacuate council chambers to the nearest exit through the chamber doors and obey all instructions given. And if assistance is required, please see our Deputy Clerk. So our Deputy Clerk is Devan this evening, so she'll lead us out in case of a catastrophe. So once you've evacuated the building, please gather in the front parking lot outside of Town Hall. I would also like to remind attendees of our code of conduct while in the council chambers pursuant to the Town of Lincoln's procedural bylaw to please be respectful while others are speaking. Thank you for your cooperation. Further, please ensure your cell phones are on silent or turned off. And lastly, the Town of Lincoln Committee of the Whole meetings are posted on our YouTube channel. Closed captioning is available on all of our videos by selecting the closed captioning button on the bottom right of the video. Members of committee are in attendance, both here and remotely. Additionally, we have staff in attendance via remote and in person, and we have representatives from Upper Canada Consulting attending this evening. So, are there any declarations of interest? And we have Councillor Renchema.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm declaring a conflict because the applicant under item, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar which item it is on the agenda right now. Just let me look it up. Sorry, it's in the closed session later on. The matter is related to a relationship, a professional relationship with my employer.
Okay, duly noted. Okay. Do members have any amendments to the order of tonight's agenda? Okay. So we have one statutory public meeting this evening. The purpose of the public meeting is to provide background information, receive comments from the public, and consider questions regarding the zoning bylaw amendment application by Upper Canada Consultants for 4600 Victoria Avenue. We will consider the report associated with the item immediately after the statutory public meeting. Section 3412 of the Planning Act requires that before passing a zoning bylaw amendment, committee must ensure that sufficient information and material is available to understand generally the proposal being considered. And committee must hold at least one public meeting for the purpose of giving the public an opportunity to make representations regarding the proposed amendment or amendments. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Lincoln before the zoning amendment is approved or a decision is made on the draft plan of subdivision, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of Town Council to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. Personal information is collected under the authority of the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and may be contained in an appendix to a staff report published in the meeting agenda, delegation list, and or the minutes of the public meeting, and are made part of the public record. The Town of Lincoln collects the information in order to make informed decisions on the relevant issues and to notify interested parties of the committee's decisions. Names and addresses contained in submitted correspondence and other information will be available to the public unless the individual expressly requests that the town to remove their personal information. The disclosure of this information is governed by the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Our public meeting for the zoning bylaw amendment application by Upper Canada Consultants is now called to order, and the Director of Planning and Development will provide opening remarks. Mr. Bruder, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to very briefly introduce this particular application, it is in relation to an addition to what's already permitted, which is the farm produce outlet and the eating area establishment, both considered uses that are permitted currently on the property. It's been a little bit of an evolution of a process. At first, the proposal was for that additional eating area to be open air, which wouldn't count towards the gross floor area because there is a current limit on the property of a gross floor area of 560 square meters. However, with the addition of the glass sliding doors and then consideration of some potential dinner events and things like that, it now applies to the gross floor area for the building, and we have official plan policies that state any agricultural-related use, including agritourism such as this, that would be over 500 square meters is subject to a zoning bylaw amendment, and that's largely why you're here today. But when we look at the site, generally speaking, again, it's a continuation of the use that's already been occurring for some time on the site, and it's also a key consideration is parking. In this case, the applicant exceeds the parking requirements that would result. So all things considered, just wanted to provide those opening comments. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. So, we have one registered delegation for this item. Please note delegations may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Once you have received the delegation, committee will transition directly into the staff report and motion. So, our delegation for this evening is from Upper Canada Consultants, and it's Mr. Ethan Lehman. Please go ahead, Ethan. The deputy clerk has set a timer, so if you hear it go up, that means you're at your 5-minute limit, so I'd ask you to wrap it up as succinctly as you can. So, the floor is yours.
There it is. Good evening, Chair and members of Council. My name is Ethan Lamont. I'm a planner with Upper Canada Consultants, and I'm representing the owner for the zoning bylaw amendment application made for the Grand Oak Culinary Market, located at 4600 Victoria Avenue in Vineland. So I have just a short presentation, and then I'll be available for questions and comments afterwards. So I want to begin with some background information for the property. The application pertains to the Grand Oak Culinary Market, which I'm sure everyone here is familiar with. The market retails goods with a focus on locally sourced products, as well as value-added products such as baked goods prepared on premise. The market also serves lunch and has indoor and outdoor seating available, and occasionally hosts special events and dinners. The market's located at 4600 Victoria Avenue. The property is about 3/4 of a hectare, or about 1.8 acres in area. It has municipal services, and it has frontage on Victoria Avenue and Green Lane Road. So this photo shows the entrance sign from Green Lane Road with that namesake oak tree in the right-hand side of the frame. From a land use planning perspective, the property is located in the Greenbelt specialty crop area. Agricultural related uses are permitted in the specialty crop area. And the market's also subject to site-specific zoning under the town zoning bylaw, which permits and regulates the use of the property for a farm produce outlet. So the farm produce outlet that's currently on the property is a permitted use in accordance with the Greenbelt plan in the town zoning bylaw. So here's just a couple of site photos taken from outside the market. So the photo on the left shows the market viewed from the parking area, and the photo on the right shows the new dining hall, which is the structure on the left-hand side of the photo on the left with the black roof. So here's some photos from inside the market that show the displays with the various items that are offered for sale in the market. So moving on to the proposed amendment, the amendment seeks to permit an increase in the maximum gross floor area from 560 square meters to 752.3 square meters. So the requested gross floor area represents 10% of the total lot area, which is the maximum lot coverage permitted under the zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw amendment recognizes the covered eating area, which was constructed in the early part or the mid part of 2021, which is shown in this photo. When the eating area was originally constructed, it was covered but unenclosed. Subsequently, the glass panels were added to improve the functionality of the space. And when it became enclosed, this caused it to be counted as part of the gross floor area, which resulted in the zoning deficiency that we are requesting to address. Secondly, the proposed amendment is also proposing to recognize an existing deficient rear yard setback for the original market building. So through the preparation of the supporting documents for this amendment, it was discovered that the original building has a rear yard setback of 13.34 meters, whereas 15 meters is required. So since we're in for an amendment anyways, we've decided to propose to address that setback as well. So here's a site plan of the property. The original market building is shown in red. And you can see that setback bubbled in red to 13.34 meters. The new covered eating area is shown in blue on the left-hand side of that original market building. So as part of the zoning amendment, 2 technical studies have been submitted. First, a technical traffic memorandum was submitted and concludes that the enclosed parking area does not create additional traffic or parking demands. As Matt noted, the property exceeds the required amount of parking for the market. And second, a functional servicing report was completed, which concludes that the new eating area does not increase demand for municipal services. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Ethan. Sorry for butchering your last name, Lamont. Okay. Now, we've got an issue going on with our YouTube, that there's just a black screen there that the presentation didn't load, so we'll take a couple of minutes to rectify that situation. So before we go to questions, is that,
A recess would be great, thank you.
okay, so 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5 minutes sounds lovely, thank you.
5 minutes, okay. 5-minute recess. Talk amongst yourselves.